Hi, welcome. It's great to have you here. Thank you, whether you're joining me on my Results Mastery podcast, whether you're on LinkedIn Live, Facebook Live, or YouTube Live. It's great to have you here. Thank you ever so much for being here. By the way, my podcast now is going out on iTunes and on Amazon Music and getting round about 7,000 to 8,000 views every single time it does. And that just astounds me. You know, it's not me trying to be big-headed in any way. It's me trying to say to you guys that if you're not using podcasts, then, you know, when would now be a good time to start is the question that I've got in mind. So, you know, this modern technology that we've got and see all around us is only going to get worse or better, dependent on your perception. Whether that's using social media, which is what today's all about, how to use social media to grow your business, to generally just embracing the whole idea and concept of digital marketing. We're in a digital world. You know, we hear all the time about AI and how it's going to affect us and what's going to happen and so on and so forth. And I think the truth is that, you know, nobody really knows fully what's going to be coming, apart from maybe a selected few people. But I actually don't agree with that. I think nobody knows what's coming. All we know is that change is coming. Change is coming, guys, whether you embrace it or not. If you're sat back in your business thinking, well, you know, we win business from referrals and a bit of networking and, you know, to do the occasional exhibition, then, you know, I've got news for you. And that is this. The old saying, if we always do what we've always done, then we'll always get what we've always got, is no longer true. It just ain't true. You know, if you always do what you've always done, you're not even going to get what you've always got. That's the truth going forward. And it's the truth today as well. So, you know, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for your time. I'm going to be respectful of it and make sure we keep it to sort of 15, maybe 20 minutes. But also, I'm going to give you my pledge to make sure, or try and make sure, that I give you the best return on your investment in time in being here. So it's been really worthwhile. For those of you who don't know me, let me just give you a quick 30-second introduction. My name's Steve Mills. I've spent over 28 years learning and understanding and learning actually from the best in the world about this thing called sales, marketing, and business growth. Call you whatever it will. It's about how do we get more leads and how do we turn more of these leads into customers and how do we look after those customers so they stay loyal to us again and again and again and give us lots of referrals and stuff like that. But anyway, that's really what today's all about. I'm going to bring it right down and talk to you today about social media and how to win business from it. Because you know what? Even though it's this phenomenon that everybody's doing, they're not winning business from it. And I say that I don't mean nobody wins business from it. They absolutely do. But when I speak to business owners, they tell me, oh, yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, Steve, but, I don't really understand it. Facebook, yeah, no, that's not for business, is it? You know, I get LinkedIn, but, you know, I'm on Twitter, yeah. And no, I don't really do very much, no, I don't, Steve. And, you know, I've heard that time and time again, you know, and shall I tell you what? What sort of result do you think, from doing very little? You know, say in sport, you know, if I want to be a Premier League footballer or a, you know, Wimbledon tennis champion, nearly said table tennis there, a Wimbledon tennis champion. If I don't do very much, what do you think are my chances of doing that? They're virtually nil. Yeah, you got to be incredibly talented. You got to put in a shed load of work for years and years and years, and then you still might not make it. But that's your best chance of doing it. So why I mention that is that's very much like social media. The biggest reason why, you know, if you're not winning business on LinkedIn, and why most people don't win business on LinkedIn, is this: they don't do anything. They don't do hardly anything. You know, I speak to people all the time and say, well, I don't want to bombard people, so I just post on there once a week. That's like saying, I don't want to go fit. I don't want to become fitter and lose weight and be more healthy. So I'm just going to go down to the gym once a month and do 10 curls and see how that works. Because it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. If what you're doing right now is not winning you business on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and, heaven knows how many other websites, but if it's not working, then something's going wrong. It's not that social media doesn't work. It's the way you're doing it. One of the biggest mistakes that I see business owners make in 2023, and actually have made for the last 28 years, is either that the marketing doesn't get done at all, or if it does, it's only a bit of it. And then the second reason is they're not doing the right thing. Let me tell you here and now, every single form of marketing works. It just doesn't work all the time because it's not done well all the time. In fact, generally speaking, it's done badly by people who've never done any training in marketing. Let me ask you, how much training have you done in LinkedIn marketing? For most people, it's very little. Perhaps you've watched a YouTube video. Perhaps you came on a one-day workshop with me or somebody else like a year ago. I can tell you now, what I taught a year ago it's not quite obsolete, but it's certainly not up to date. And it's an example of how and why the world is changing. So let's just say the world's changing, and let's just have a think about what we should be doing. The number one thing that you're going to get, I hope, from today comes down to one word. What do you need to do? You need to do more. You need to do more. You need to do more of what you're already doing. So if you're posting on LinkedIn, as an example, you need to do more of it. If you're only using LinkedIn and Twitter, you need to use the rest of the sites as well, because they're just as good at winning business. Now, I say this not as somebody who's like, some marketing guy or whatever. I say this as a business owner who is making round about 100 grand a year from social media. Now, I will absolutely tell you, that's nowhere near as much as some people, but it's a whole lot more than most. It really is. Now, if I had a bigger business, if I had a team of people, if I could go to my social media team and tell them to do this, and spend, full time, 40 hours a week doing it, that number would be considerably higher. One of my clients made 42 million pounds as a result of giving me 150 quid to come along to a LinkedIn workshop, and he made 42 million pounds. Another one, let me give you another one, a law firm. I do a day's training for them in-house. And at the end of it, I was asked to come back like 2 months later to see how they've progressed. So I did a quick round the room type thing and said to the first guy, so how's it been going? And he said, well, the training was fine, Steve, but, to be honest, he said, I've been busy and, I don't think I should spend my time as a lawyer playing around on LinkedIn, posting stuff that nobody wants to look at. That was my first one. And I thought, oh, bombing heck, if I get another 30 of these, it's going to be a tough day at the office for me. But I got to the next person on the around the table was a lady. And she went, well, she said, I implemented what Steve said, and in the since the last workshop that he did, I've made £350,000 in new fees. I've never seen anybody go so bright red in my life. This guy was just embarrassed himself in front of all his peers. So, that's my point, really, that if you don't do anything, it don't work. And if you do, it does. And so we need to do something. Just to reiterate that, because I really want to get this over to you, that, you know, you need to spend more time. I just want to play a very short excerpt from a video that I watched. The video itself, I think, is about 57 minutes. You'll see the title of it, so if you want to watch it, you can. But I'm just going to play you like a minute of it. And it's got by a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk. You may have heard of Gary. I think he calls himself Gary V a lot, but he's a guy like me. You know, he's a marketing guy. He advises businesses and so on and so forth. They just charge £500,000, I've heard, for his talk. So, yeah, you know, you can get me a little bit less than that, shall we say. You know, Gary's a hugely successful guy, earns many millions of dollars. He's actually a Russian, but he's American. He's from America. That's where he was born, I think, or he lived there when he was young. I forget his story now. But anyway, he's a good guy. And let me just play you his video. So just bear with me for a few seconds while I just share that. Just a sec. Slides, that's what I want. Well, I'm getting this wrong. I'm not uploading this correctly. Just bear with me. Bear with, caller. I'll get this right in a second. Slides. Now, this is really weird. Is it that I need to change to that? Ah, that's it. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I was on the wrong format there. So I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, and we're going to look at this one. And there we go. So apologies for that. So here we go. Gary Vaynerchuk, in a small part of his talk called The Only Marketing Strategy You Need for 2023. Here we go.
They're softer. And so it's not as fun to do the things that they had to do in 08 because it was much more fun to do the things they did in 19 because it was easier. See, I love 2023. I love what we're sitting through right now in this room. This is when we separate people who have stomach for it and people who don't. We all know that there's a lot of people that entered this business in 2016, 15 that aren't gonna make it through because they only trained in the softness. They don't like the dirt. They don't like the grind. I don't think anybody here is gonna like what's about to come out of my mouth. In the deepest of my heart, with enormous compassion, empathy, and deep want for happiness in everybody in this room, I want every single person here posting 12 different creative posts across 5 different social networks a day. I want every person in this room after this conference, after this talk, to go home tomorrow and post somewhere between 8 and 15 pieces of content on LinkedIn, YouTube Shorts, Facebook, Instagram, Snap, TikTok, and I want you to do it every day. What I just said is 100%. It's non-debatable fact that the people that are outflanking in every micro segment of every business in the output of creative, and of course the quality matters. Of course the quality of what comes out of your mouth is a variable of your success. But before you even start the debate of what do you say, or what are you talking about, or how are you doing this, the data is undeniable that the companies and humans in service businesses that are out posting its competitive set are picking up market share by the simple fact of there's just too much attention of society on these 7 to 10 platforms.
Okay, so let's just stop the share. Hopefully you could get back to me now. Yeah, should be back there. Yeah, okay, so what he's basically said there is this, that, you know, we got one of the world's leading experts in business growth, marketing, and so on, and he's saying you should be posting 8 to 15 times every day. Now, oh, God, that's more than I do, I've got to say. I'm probably up to like 4, 5, maybe sometimes 7 or 8 times a day, but I do as much as I can. And he also said, why is that? It's because those media are getting so much attention. You know, LinkedIn has got, like, last time I looked, it was 800 and odd million. I wouldn't be surprised if they haven't now hit 900 million people, and usage of it is up 83%. 83% and more people are actually on there on a daily basis, doing stuff, posting, adding people, and so on and so forth. So, you know, this is not just Steve Mills. This is what, you know, the leading experts in the world are saying you should be doing. And, you know, we really need to be thinking about that in terms of, you know, your social media. So I got a quick list that I'm going to basically file through very quickly, and I'm going to give it a headline of this. This is what you're not doing that you should be doing. So what I'd like you to do is just write it down if you're not doing it right now. Okay, so first thing is posting, which is what Gary just said. So if you're not posting at least, I don't know, 5 or 6, or, you know, Gary's saying 8 times a day, write that down as though you're not doing that. Are you updating your profiles, making sure that they're up to date? The information is as up to date. It's as good as possible. You know, updating your pictures. Yeah, I see people have got a LinkedIn profile and the picture's like, you know, 10, 15 years ago. You know, that needs to be up to date. Contacts. Are you growing your contacts, connecting to more and more and more people? You know, how many people have you got right now that you're connected to on LinkedIn? Mine's 10,100 and something. I say something because 2 days ago when I checked, I've no doubt I've got another 30 or 40 or 50 people added to that list. So I'm growing that list all the time. Groups. Are you using groups? Groups are a great way, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever, of basically getting a message out to many, many people. I can join a group, I can post to that group, and that group might have 500,000 people. No way 500,000 people are going to see my posts, but if 500 of them do, and I get 2 inquiries and 1 sale, I'm as happy as Larry. Liking and commenting. You know, we want to join a discussion, not just talk ourselves, not just, you know, pushing content out, but also getting involved in other people's conversations. Definitely a good thing to do. Getting recommended, particularly on LinkedIn, I think is a huge area that people just don't do. Yeah, I see people all the time. How long have you been in business? Oh, 20 years. How many recommendations have you got on LinkedIn? Oh, 2. You know, it just ain't going to work. I've got 140 recommendations on LinkedIn. Go and have a look at them. I say that not to impress you, just to impress upon you. There's no reason why you couldn't have that too, unless today's the first day in business. And even then, you could have half a dozen at least. You could set up your own group. So, you know, set up a group, make it a closed group. So just your clients are members and you can communicate with them and so on and so forth. Events. You know, if you're not doing events like this one, like this LinkedIn Live, you can get in front of, you know, thousands maybe, but, you know, certainly from my point of view, you know, I get in front of about 100 people. I think the most I've had was 125 people on my LinkedIn Live. So that's great. But I'm on there every single day. I do this every day. So, you know, even if I think today I've got like about 15 people on this, but it's also going out on Facebook. So that'd be another load of people. It's going out on YouTube. That's another load of people. It's already on Amazon and iTunes and actually about 30 other websites. So that's, I know, is 7,000 people. So, you know, it is into the thousands actually. And then what do you think I do with it when I finish in a couple of minutes? Oh, by the way, I'm slightly over time, so apologies for that. But when I finish in a couple of minutes, what do you think I do with it? Do you think I just leave it, or do you think I share it all over my social media? Absolutely, I do, and you should too. So events are brilliant. Video, uploading video to social media, awesome. Website, drive traffic from social media to your website. I get over 1,000 people to my website for free from social media. Most of that, by the way, is from LinkedIn. Email list, upload people into your email list, obviously with permission. But if somebody connects to me on LinkedIn, for example, I say, thanks for connecting. How do you like to be in my email list to provide you with hints and tips and ways in which you can grow your business? If you'd like that, then just sign up here. And lastly, a newsletter. I only discovered this a little while ago. There's a function on LinkedIn that enables you to set up a LinkedIn newsletter, and LinkedIn help you promote it. I've got 1,300 people now subscribe to my LinkedIn newsletter. And do you know what I've done to get all those people? Nothing. Zero. LinkedIn's done all the work. And every time I go on there and send out a post, it doesn't just, when I say a post, I mean an article on LinkedIn, on my LinkedIn newsletter. It doesn't just go out on LinkedIn. It is emailed by LinkedIn to all the people who've subscribed. How cool is that? So that's it. I hope it's been of value to you. I really think it has, by the way. And I don't say that to be big-headed. I'm just being big-headed about what I'm talking about, if you understand my meaning. If you would like to join my Results Mastery University, I strongly recommend you do that. Go and get yourself signed up on my website. And if you want to book a free one-to-one with me, you're also welcome to do that at the same place. So on my website, steve-mills.com, for those of you who are listening on my podcast. Other than that, thanks ever so much. And I look forward to speaking to you, hopefully tomorrow. Thanks for listening.